I'm going to share 5 ways to find 100 new donors when you've started your nonprofit. And some of these are really going to surprise you by where you can find these people. I'm Tiffany with Boss on a Budget. I teach people how to start their nonprofits and how to raise money from the ground up. And in this video, we're going to get right to the meat of it. And I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do to find your first 100 donors. Are y'all ready for this? Get your pens out, because let's go. The first way to find donors is within your own personal network. When I do free challenges to teach people how to raise money, I often go over what's called a circle of influence exercise. And it's where I have people draw circles where they literally identify the people in their circles, people in your family circle, your social circles, your professional circles, and start thinking about all the different connections you may have had over your entire lifespan and identifying the people who you can reach out to donate for your organization. This is one thing I got to get you to understand though, especially when it comes to asking for money. You cannot make it about yourself. You cannot make it about your fears, your anxieties about money. A lot of people will say, well, I don't want to feel like I'm begging, or I don't want to ask the people that I know because I feel like I'm a charity case. One thing you have to realize is this is not your personal pet project. This is literally a public institution that you created that anybody can support. It's really effective to get people you know to support because they're more likely to support you in the beginning, but anybody can support you. It's not going into your pockets. It's going to support your mission, and it's going to support the people who need you. So a lot of people stop here because they won't ask their family or they won't ask their friends because they feel like, well, they're going to look at me a certain way because I'm asking them for money. So you really have to shed that mindset and just ask. What I recommend you do is have a specific goal. Don't just reach out to people and say, hey, I'm starting a new organization. Can you donate for our organization? Make it very specific. In a year, you want to accomplish certain things. In a year, maybe you want to serve a certain amount of people. You want to get a program set up. Whatever that goal is, make it specific so people feel like they're giving to a person or they're giving to help a particular outcome. They want to see some kind of success, and let them know that their money will help those people or that person reach that success. The more specific you are, the more effective your ask is. So I recommend you think about all the people in your family, not just the people you talk to on a regular basis, but all the people you have contact information for. Go in your email contact list. Go on your social media channels for the people you actually know and are acquainted with, and write out all of those names. I'm pretty sure you can get at least 100 people. Now, all those people are not going to donate, but you need to ask all those people, and don't think about whether or not they'll say yes or they'll say no, or, oh, that person doesn't have it. I don't think so. That's not your concern. People are grown. They have to make decisions about whether they want to support or not. You have to give them the ability to make the choice for themselves about whether or not they want to support you. Your job is simply to ask. Number 2, I want you to tap into groups that already have built-in audiences. I want you to think about faith communities. I want you to think about sororities, fraternities, membership associations, local clubs. First of all, if they're congregating together, more than likely it's around some kind of common good or social good, or they lean towards service projects, right? So even if it's a sorority or a membership and they serve for the purposes of their membership, a lot of times they want to do a service project or they want to find a nonprofit to support. But here's the thing, a lot of them lean into what we all know. You know, there's always going to be a food bank in the local community. There's always going to be some kind of homeless shelter or people donating coats or donating book bags for schools. Those are the typical players, but that's because most people don't know that other nonprofits exist and they aren't really sure and aware of the impact of their mission. But if they know you or are aware of you and they know your mission and they understand how it impacts what they care about, then they will support. It may take time for you to learn more about them and for them to learn about your mission and to build that relationship if you don't know them well, but they already have built-in communities who are ready to support and do something good. So one of the nonprofits that I've coached in the past, the Divine Fountain of Hope in South Carolina, I'm shouting them out. Yes, they did this. They were able to get seed money based on a coaching session I did with them, and they reached out to local churches, and those churches came together and donated to support their mission to help young parents. And as a result, they now have a space that they're operating out of within the first 3 years of them starting. And it's because they reached out and tapped into their local churches with a message that the churches cared about. So I want you to map all of the different communities that are around you, the clubs, associations, memberships that are either connected to you geographically or connected to you because they care about your mission or they have some kind of connection to your mission. mission and reach out to them and start sharing the work that you're trying to do and ask them to support. Number 3 is social media. Now, this one comes with a warning because I don't know how many times somebody has reached out to me in one of my inboxes. I don't know who they are. I don't know who their organization is. I've never spoken to them personally, but they'll send me like a long paragraph and a link to donate to something. That is not the right way. That is not an effective use of your time. You may get a couple of people, but the way you get people to donate is through relationship, through understanding your donor, reaching out to the people who care about your mission, tapping into the thing they care about and showing them how their support can help them feel better and helping them to see how their support can actually make them feel good about themselves. That's why people give, because they want to feel good. They want to feel like they're contributing to something. So yes, leverage social media to educate. And the way you want to do that is you want to first build a following of people who know about your mission and can understand why you're needed and understand the impact that you're making. So the first thing you got to do before you ask is identify the right people and then educate them about your work. You don't immediately go to asking people to help you. If someone came up to you on the street and you don't know who they are, where they came from, what they're trying to do, and they say, hey, can I get $25? Most people are like, who are you, right? So you have to have that relationship building piece, and you can do that even online. So when you put out information about what you're doing, or if you're sharing data or statistics or stories about how dire the need is around your mission, and people like that post or people share that post, then reach out to that person and say, hey, I saw you liked our post. In what ways are you interested in our mission? Can we answer any questions for you? Or, hey, we love to hear from you. Ask them questions about themselves. Ask them why they're connected to the mission. Ask them questions about things that they may have commented on your post. You are building genuine relationships with people. Even though it's online, you're still dealing with people. After you build that relationship, then you can start doing direct asks. And yes, it's great for you to put out Facebook campaigns for a fundraiser or for you to put out your fundraising link, but it's those direct one-on-one conversations that yield more money. So if you're looking for your first new donors, I recommend you use your social media to amplify your mission, to talk about your work on a regular basis, be very consistent about sharing information, and then start doing direct reach outs to the people who show interest in what you're talking about. Number 4 is reach out to local businesses. When people come to me and ask me about grants in particular with their new nonprofits, they always ask me, where can I find grants? Where can I find startup grants? And for new organizations, I always recommend that you start small and local. What do I mean by that? I mean those smaller family foundations or those local foundations that are affiliated with local businesses. A lot of times you'll see corporate foundations because there's corporate headquarters or there's a big corporate presence in that geographic area, and they'll have a foundation that supports their local community. Or if they have a large presence there, they may have employees that do volunteer activities or smaller resource groups within the organization that want to support things that are connected to what they care about. So I'm saying certain words over and over again, and I keep talking about connection to mission and what people care about. You have to tap into what people have signaled they care about. And you don't know what they care about unless you do the work and take the time to understand what's behind the work that they do, what's the purpose behind who they are and why they get together. And it's the same thing with businesses. So for example, your local grocery store probably supports food insecurity or programs that address nutrition. Now they may do other things, but I'm pretty sure that they'll call out those kind of programs in a lot of what they do because it's affiliated with the type of work they do on a regular basis. So you are trying to figure out all the different connections and affiliations that local businesses are connected to related to your mission. Here's one important connection or affiliation that you can tap into: geography. Most foundations, especially those family foundations and those corporate foundations, give based on geographic areas. So if you have brands in your area, I want you to think about your utility companies, your banks, your grocery stores, as I mentioned, and any other large corporate presence in your area, construction companies, development companies. More than likely, they support local organizations. I want you to create a list of all of those potential connections and start reaching out to them, especially your banks and especially those local credit unions, because they normally support local organizations. And I'll give another plug to Walmart. So brands like that, Walmart does community giving. They give grants grants out to local organizations, and every store has the ability to give separate grants. So you got to go out there, you got to do the work. You got to go meet people, you got to identify what's out there. The money is there, you just got to work for it. And the last way to do this is through peer-to-peer fundraising. And you may be watching this and wondering, what is that, Tiffany? I have talked about peer-to-peer fundraising a lot. I went over a strategy in the video that I'm linking above, but essentially it's people that you know or people who are affiliated with you. They're asking people they know to support your mission. So they are asking on your behalf. So you may have a volunteer or a person who's given before who is in love with the work that you do, and they decide to reach out to their own networks. They tap into their personal and social and professional networks, like we talked about in number 1, right? But they do it in their own networks on your behalf, and they get those people to support. The reason why this is so effective is because people give to the things they know and they trust. And they'll trust somebody who's their neighbor or a family member asking them to give to an organization, because why would they flim-flam them, right? Why would they try to scam them? And it's like they see that the mission is important to somebody they care about, so they're more intrigued than just a stranger off the street where you have to do more work to convince them that you're a worthy organization. So use peer-to-peer strategies. Think of people who are closely tied to your mission. They've already supported you in some way or already indicated that they love what you do or love the idea of what you're doing, and talk to them about raising money on your behalf. Give them a specific goal and then tell them or advise them to ask people within their networks to support. It is a very effective way to start fundraising. I use these same strategies to help a new organization raise $117,000 in less than 6 months. So it's completely doable and it's completely possible. One tangible way that people tend to do this is through parties in their house. So the person who's fundraising on your behalf or asking people on your behalf will host a party, and they'll tell their friends, hey, it's a fundraising party. I want to tell you about this great new organization. You come, you talk about your work, you share information, you share data, you share your plans, and then people give based on what they hear. They're compelled to give. It's a direct pitch and ask in someone's home. It doesn't cost any money, and it produces the income you need and the seed funding that you need to do the work. But some people may not be as connected to people with resources like that who can just drop money. But think about Facebook fundraisers. It's the same type of thing. Somebody can give $5 to a Facebook fundraiser, and it's just as powerful because they're showing that they care about your mission because they heard of what you're doing and they believe in what you do. So peer-to-peer fundraising can look very different, right? Think about runs or walks. People raise money for their teams for their walks, and that money goes to the nonprofit. It can look so many different ways, but it's a great way to find your first donors. And then once you have those donors, you can keep engaging them and ask them to give year after year. Which way are you going to start first? I highly recommend you start with number 1 and then follow the same pathway that I talked about in this video. If you have questions about these things, drop them in the comments below. If you need help with your nonprofit, visit me at bossonabudget.com. There are resources there to help you on your nonprofit journey. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.